Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the WGLNA Season 2 Gold League. I'm your host, Christian Toma. To my left is David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. So always go over to battleviewer.com if you're not there already and check us out there. And finally, follow us on Twitter @WGLNA so you guys can stay up to date on what's happening in the community around you and answer for us the question of the day.
Which is, when is it important to focus fire?
Now, my first answer was Cliff during a brawl, obviously in the center hill. Would Ruinberg Delta Village fight also count?
That's a trickier one. So that actually gets into another point I was going to make about when not to focus fire.
Oh.
So, say for example, you can focus your fire, but you cannot possibly kill a tank before it gets around a corner.
Okay.
Perhaps,
Don't do it.
Perhaps he's not, well, I mean, you want to focus your fire if it's the only tank available, but perhaps that's not the tank you want to focus fire. Or perhaps you want to spread that damage a little bit more to keep everybody back. It gets, again, it gets so complicated so fast.
This is why I love this game, guys. There's so many options. Let us know right now when you guys think is a good time to focus fire as we are getting ready for our second battle of the night. It is going to be Caller Wanted versus High Voltage. On the side of Caller Wanted, we have Blue Mini. On the side of High Voltage, we have Tofu Smurf. Gentlemen, welcome to the face-off, and Blue Mini. Going to go ahead and start off with you. Now, on Thursday's game against the Eclipse, my question is, what happened on Ruinberg to you guys?
On Ruinberg, we ended up on, I think it was attack first, and we didn't really execute too well, and then we went on to defense a bit tilted, and we kind of lost an easy defense with a few bad pushes and a bad misplays. And then on the last match, we kind of just YOLO'd because we kind of thought it was over since we were on attack on Ruinberg, which is kind of hard to win.
Gotcha.
It is indeed hard to win.
Tough thing indeed. Well, again, talking about, we said this last time to Viral, I said to Mr. Man, just watch out for tilt, guys. Just don't go on tilt territory. You just gotta stay away. It's like the danger zone. Just stay away.
I mean, if you start tilting, you just put your roommate in. Actually, no, that would be against the rules.
That would be
you can't.
against the rules.
But I was going to say he's already been on the show, so he's one step away.
Yeah, he's already there. Just got to get him to sign some stuff. He'll be fine.
All right, Blue, who does most of the focus fire calling for you?
That's actually a very good question. We're still working on that, so hopefully that'll get better by the playoffs.
Wow.
Communication is one of those important things. It's easy to laugh at the guy and be like, look at Mr. Military over here trying to make things all formal. And then later you realize, no, he's right.
We need that.
The military's probably pretty good at what they do, so you should just copy it.
All right, guys. Communication is key. Lumini, thank you so much. Tofu Smurf, now over to you. You guys only have now 2 more matches, this being one of them in the regular season here. So looking back, just kind of as a team captain on your team, where do you feel like you guys have grown the most this season?
Just general adaptation. I mean, I think we've probably had one of the hardest things to try to adapt to this season, in the sense that we lost a caller and now we're adjusting to a whole new style so late in the season, and we're in the sense we're still adapting to that and still working on it. So, but I am proud of the guys for sticking in. I mean, it's really easy to quit on people and quit on each other when things kind of don't turn your way, but these guys have stuck together.
Absolutely. It's been such a pleasure and enjoyable to watch you guys as well. And best of luck as we go kind of on into playoff season.
All right, Tofu. I'm assuming, I mean, you're High Voltage. Everybody calls focus at some point in time. So I'm going to ask you 2 completely different questions. One, if you could focus fire a fully loaded Batshat or a mouse, which one would you pick?
The mouse. It's a higher priority. I mean, it's if you don't, you lose. So I mean, really, it's not much of a question.
If you don't, you lose.
There you have it, straight from a pro player. Second question, which do you love more, the Lakers or the mouse?
Oh, the mouse.
Oh, man. He stuck to his guns, and I commend you for that, Tofu Smurf. Indeed. Gentlemen, before we get into the battle, Blue Mini, I'd like to say to Tofu before we get started.
Kobe sheds a single tear.
Kobe's like, Tofu, no.
No, just good luck and have fun.
All right, Tofu Smurf, your response.
Yeah, just have fun, you guys.
Best of luck to both of you guys. We'll see you very shortly in the battle.
I love messing with Tofu over that mouse statement.
Dun, dun, dun.
Caller Wanted has added a couple players we've already discussed since the last time. Smiley Rage being the biggest standout for them. He's had some great games, and I expect him to continue having great games as he is a pretty generally great player.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, yeah.
Here is the pre-match screen from FantasyWGL.com. Delth, now the leading scorer, took it over last time. And Blue Boys for High Voltage.
As always.
Both teams preferring the T22. About time we saw that. crazy every time you don't.
Yeah, why not, guys?
One team prefers Ruinberg, the other team prefers Steps. There'll be high voltage with Steps and Caller Wanted with Ruinberg.
Okay, so this is the thing that I really wanted to talk about. So if you look back on Caller Wanted's history, they have never played Steps or Himmelsdorf. So you can, I mean, maybe they've gotten lucky and that's always been out, but it seems like that's a ban potential priority for them.
Yeah, actually, it was just earlier today that Tim, our statistical analysis guy, was looking over all this stuff and he was pointing that out. And it was interesting. It's like either they're banning Steps and Himmelsdorf all the time, or they're just getting really lucky.
Something's not
or
working
perhaps
out
they're
there.
super great at the picking thing, and they're like, yeah, you will ban Himmelsdorf for us, and we will ban Steps, and somehow we'll magically play Murovanka every time.
So someone goes through and they're like, oh, wait, we've never seen Caller Wanted on Steps or Himmelsdorf. They must have a crazy good strategy for that. Let's ban it from them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What? But here's the thing, though. This is also a Steps. Himmelsdorf are high voltage. Some of the most amazing plays have kind of come out in there. That they do new things. They try some on Steps at least.
On Steps, so high voltage hasn't really been playing Himmelsdorf this season.
Right, but so watching them, it'll be interesting to see if Caller Wanted allows that to come through, and if not, how high voltage will do on different maps like Murovanka, ladies and gentlemen, which we are starting out on. Caller Wanted versus high voltage. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for tanks.
Ooh, I'm excited for this game. What? All right. This is kind of getting to that crazy lineup stuff we were talking about. Not even a double of any single tank. Caller Wanted with an E100, an IS-7, an E5, a Batshat, an STB, a 183, and an Object 416.
Diversity.
416 is an interesting pick here. We'll talk about that here in a second. High voltage with an E5, a 140, a 907, an STB, a T22, an E3, and an AMX 1390. So the 416.
Let's check that out.
Tier 8 tank. It's got one of the highest DPMs
Look how flat that tank is.
in the game. Oh, already taking a good bit of damage, but not going to be enough. He's actually in an incredibly forward position. I see his usage here. It gets it on cap, but it's very hard to shoot. The pancake, as it's known.
Pancakes and waffles.
Look at that. Look at that. Brilliant.
So flat.
Brilliant.
He's like the hill.
You know, Dr. Halo, he's not playing right now, but this reminds me of a certain strategy that he pulled in Season 5, where he put a tank that was just very, very, very flat in a divot, and you couldn't really shoot it or blind fire it out. And it was fairly genius at the time. We'll see if 416 works out quite as easily. Obviously, we also have a 183, which is a vicious, vicious British tank destroyer that does an incredible amount of damage per shot, similar to the JPE 100, but
Longer reload?
but more. Oh yeah. Very long reload. Think about it this way. It's a direct fire artillery.
Okay.
In almost every sense of the word. It's
Great.
probably firing Hesh, which is kind of a glorified HE round.
Little more health, though, than artillery.
It's one of those tanks where if you make it
A lot
work,
more health.
it's going to pay off big time.
Oh, we'll see
The
if Caller wants to
E100
make it work.
Is also an interesting choice. It's a lot of hit points and fairly good alpha. I mean, the amount of alpha potential for Caller Wanted is pretty unreal right now. Whereas High Voltage is more of a longer kind of game
Sustained
with the 907 and the E3. High Voltage is going
Look
to
at this
attempt
push.
a hard one-line push to get around this. Unfortunately for them, that 183 could be in the fire rig solution. We'll find out real soon if this is going to work out for High Voltage.
Blue Boy's captain getting his body up. Purple Blue knows that his time is over. He backs off cap, takes some shots. Not really a single point of damage going on to High Voltage at all. Bouncing a lot of the shots taken to him. And now Purple Blue being lit up. 721 going to that 416. And Thief's gonna finish him off. And already a tank fallen for Caller Wanted with really little to nothing done to High Voltage in return. And now finally Oxthief and Birth Thief are taking some damage there as they're starting to back off, but they got what they came for. They found a tank, they stopped the cap pressure, and now if that was really what Caller Wanted was going for, putting that flat tank on the cap, it's gone.
Indeed, High Voltage has found their answer to a problem that they faced fairly recently with the cap, the 1 cap being kind of the latest meta for this. 2 cap was definitely the thing at Tier 8 with different view ranges, different camos, all sorts of stuff, lower HP pools, a lot of different variables that made the 2 cap a lot better at Tier 8. But at Tier 10, the 1 cap has been the flavor. I can kind of see why, but now High Voltage has their own answer, and now Arclit and E3. As we all know, he loves to play tank destroyers and artillery. Taking 1 shot out from Smiley Rage, not an easy penetration there, but far from dead. Arclit is still a significant threat for the battlefield. And now all High Voltage has done has fallen back to a standard defensive format. And now Caller Wanted, in order to do what they were doing before, has to put bigger, more important tanks on the cap to get that done.
All right, and we'll see now as High Voltage potentially just can just keep on coming and getting those resets.
Aggressors 183. Hard to say if that was actually lit. I believe it flashed there for a second, and there it goes. That provides High Voltage with a boatload of information about where they want to go. And the answer to that is on the exact opposite side of the hill from 183, because bad, nope. Let's get way away from that, and we'll focus on fighting pretty much anywhere else.
Right now, 10 seconds on the clock. High Voltage needs to get a reset, and then there it is. One shot going to Blue Mini. 311 points of damage, 374, and now the cap has been reset. We've seen this so many times. High Voltage is in a great position to take this one home. Halfway through the battle, 4 minutes have gone by. Delth now takes some damage there. Fixer loaded, and the E100 one more shot away. Oxy takes him out. Takes out the bat chat. Fixer has to be careful. The E100 on cap there, but they are sticking to their guns. Caller wanted, trying to just get High Voltage to push into a position where they can use that alpha damage to take out and pick out a tank. Ant Thief in that T-22 has to be careful. One more shot, and he could be going down. But now High Voltage kind of has that center of the map and takes a shot. 371 there going into Fixer. One more, and he will be going down. And did we kind of talk about the difficulty of shooting from that center part of the map?
Yes. Clearly, High Voltage has gone in after recent
losses.
losses.
That for sure.
Recent close to losses. Studied the angles, found what they were looking for, found the easy resets. Now Caller Wanted is definitely probably starting to question whether Muravanka was the map they wanted to play. Going into this, it would have seemed like it, but with so much footage on them, it's definitely High Voltage's ball game, because Arclit has always specialized in analyzing what other people are doing and then breaking it. That has always kind of been his thing.
Okay.
And then steps. Just anything on steps.
Analyze what people do,
anything that
break
lets him
it,
carry an
and
artillery
steps.
is pretty much just GG Arclit wins. Bird Thief taking a little bit of damage here, but really this is mostly a formality here unless Caller Wanted is able to pull a magical winning rabbit out of the hat. But no, as Blue Mini is going to go down here relatively soon to a number of vectors. 2 more shots coming in as Tiger Thief and Blue Boys finish him off. Arclit taking that final shot. Aggressor's down at half, and it doesn't matter if he gets out a shot at this point. Once
I kind of want to see it,
the
though.
fight happens, and we'll see if he actually got one in. It's a chance that he got a reasonable amount of damage in. Blue Boys, please go offer yourself to Aggressor so we can see that gigantic number.
Blue Boys.
Pop out of your head. Wait, scratch that. Anybody but Blue Boys.
I have him on my team.
And Ox.
Yeah.
Anybody besides them.
Arclit taking a shot. Aggressor taking 11:06. It looks like we're not going to see that on camera right now. Tiger Thief picks that one up, and High Voltage finds the first victory of the second match of the night here on Muravanka. And yeah, I mean, it seemed like a very clear strategy coming up from Caller Wanted. This is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to take it. High Voltage is just like, no, we're not going to give that to you.
This is what I was talking about when I was saying if Caller Wanted comes out and they attempt to play a refined game, and that's, I don't mean to be insulting there, but if they attempt to play a refined game, it's a concrete strategy, and they're playing the game that High Voltage wants to play. So it's not. Granted, if it's fairly well and you leave your opponent room to make mistakes, they could make mistakes and bail you out of it. But this is the game that High Voltage wants to play right now. And it's not going to put High Voltage on tilt if they lose one of these games, because they're going to be expecting a loss somewhere for some slight mistakes. Let's get into the statistics first.
Yep, check it out.
Over here, for Caller Wanted, 2880 out of Magenta Panda. Man, I pick him for so long. And he fails me.
Hey, it's one game.
Not really fails me.
It's one game.
It doesn't put in the points. And then all of a sudden, bang. Well, I don't have anybody from Caller Wanted this time around, so it doesn't really matter. Stop talking about my fantasy. Okay, I will. Smiley Rage with 1865. And then the 183, fired once, didn't get a connection. Fixer reloaded, E100. 3 shots, no connections. Running out of time here. Just crazy numbers out of everybody. Blue Boys taking the lead, 2752. Arclit with 2638. Wallhacks with 2248 and a 1390. Ox Thief with 2078. And everybody else breaking or getting close to 1500. And I'll kind of look through those stats at the end of next game. Perhaps we'll show all of that.
Show-worthy.
But I'll see if there's anything that when we were rushing through that at the end was worth highlighting. Maybe a big damage bounced or assist or something like that. But, there you have it. I mean,
a strategy come and gone.
Let's say somebody were to ask me if I were leading High Voltage.
If you're leading High Voltage,
what would I do for strategies?
What would you do for strategies?
That's a good question. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, no worries.
I would find any map where Wallhacks can carry and just play that.
Well, looks like Muravanka might be that map. Ladies and gentlemen, we've switched sides, getting ready to go right back into it. Let's take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Granted, he didn't carry that whole match. He just did exactly what he was supposed to and get a boatload of damage in it. That was just
Fair-
flawless
fair
execution
enough.
overall. Caller wanted with 2 E5s, an STB, 2 T22s, a T62A, and a T54. Lightweight, high voltage with 2 batch shots, 2 T22s, a TVP, and 2 T54s. That is going to be an incredibly interesting offense. Very light, very fast. A lot of autoloaders. Autoloaders and then just
brawling?
great single fire tanks. This is, it could be. This could be an attempt. They're splitting. This could be an attempt to create 2 split fights. Oh, look at this. So all the autoloaders in one prong.
Yeah, and all the
And
single
all the
targets.
single fire, somewhat kind of trolly bouncy tanks in the other prong.
Interesting.
If they create an engagement, they could last quite a long time
For the
with those
autoloaders to
single
win.
fires. If you say for example they draw a caller wanted into the delta or into the forest here, and they tie that up with those single fire tanks, caller wanted couldn't just leave; they would lose. In the meantime, all of high voltage's tanks, you know what? We're not seeing anything develop too quickly here that we won't see on the minimap. So let's
check it
do
out.
it.
Minimap time.
Oh, hold on, fight. Never mind.
Get out, get out. We have a shot there
Abort.
going into Delph.
Abort.
285, that T22, and Ox and Ann are going to continue to pressure him, popping up, getting the shot there, 327. It looks like that's all they're kind of comfortable taking. Maybe Ox gets another one, possibly. No, he's just going to stay back. Call wants to now sync up those tanks, starting to rotate. Members kind of in the north. We have the T54. Now he's spotting some people out here. Some shots still continue to go between these T22s here. It's a T22 fight.
The T54 lightweight could stumble across all of those autoloaders.
Oh.
No. Man, I want to peel off this fight and see exactly why that is, but we'll have to get back to that here in a little bit and see if this develops into anything fairly quickly. Why don't you? Now let's see. Both teams just kind of feeling each other out at this point, and it looks like it's starting to play more and more in exactly what I was talking about before with high voltage, drawing them into that fight in the eastern side.
Yep, here they
and
go.
then caller wanted is going to be so far away from the one cap, high voltage can simply pour back and either fire at him from across the map with all those autoloaders, so that's not the best option, or just hard cap. And then if anybody comes back, they'll just nuke him.
Well, we'll see here as this continues to go through. Obviously, a very well planned out strategy. Let's see how well that they can execute it here. And this is now the move. High voltage sending the bat chats in the 50-51 out of the A1 position, out of hiding, straight into possibly what looks like Northern Cap. They might just be putting 3 members on. They've drawn a lot of the members for Caller Wanted down to the south. They might just try to play a cap fast game here. Blue Boys captain Arklet and Berthief now applying that pressure here, dropping the cap instantly down to 30 seconds. Caller Wanted has to respond right now. Some damage going on to Tiger Thief in that T-54, but again, they are just trying to stay alive as quick as possible. And now finally, Aggressor, looking for a moment, Caller Wanted not even seeing what's going on. Aggressor finally knows it. He's sending the SCB-1 back, but it might not be enough time. 16 seconds on the clock, and Delph getting lit up in that T-22, dropping into 319 points of damage. Meanwhile, Oxthief as well getting low. Magenta Panda finishes him off, but it's gonna be all for nothing as we still have the 3 members on cap. No one is spotted out yet. Aggressor is trying as best as he can to get there in time. Will he get there? Will he light anyone up? The cap goes down to 0. And it looks like High Voltage has successfully attacked onto Moravanka here. It doesn't matter what happened in the south. Aggressor gets there too late, and High Voltage has found another victory, increasing it 2-0 against Caller Wanted. That was a play. That was an amazing play coming out from High Voltage there, baiting Caller Wanted into the south, waiting for just the perfect amount of time, sending the 3 members back. Oh, that was awesome. I just want to see more of that. That was, again, when you see the well-executed strategies just done right, that was it.
Cheeky breaky. Oh, man, the only thing you could say to that is Za Arklitia. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the statistics.
Let's check it out.
So, for Caller Wanted, Magenta Panda, 1,900, about 1,300 blocked, 1,300 overall for Smiley Rage, and a shot into a teammate, 12 out of the E5, and that's about all there is. Meanwhile, checking? No? Oh, Blue Boys, one of my picks was in that prong, and as much as I liked what happened there, that pains me just a tad. But overall, I mean, that's the strategy. It's not great for our fantasy points, but it's great
for them.
It's great for getting a bye to the finals, I'll tell you that.
Oh, for sure.
Ant Thief, hold up. Almost 2,000 blocked, almost 2,600 damage done. I mean, he pretty much carried everything.
Oh, man.
That whole fight, I mean, actually, you looked over there. High Voltage was dangerously close to winning that fight without 3 tanks.
Exactly. They were
And-
staying
and
alive,
that happens.
finding kills.
Granted, that happens. That's not like necessarily embarrassing on Color Wanted's part. That just happens because they didn't have a full fight. If Color Wanted had everybody there, those tanks would have melted immediately. But they were very confused. You could see it where they're hesitant to step
Are
in.
there more?
And
are
this
there
is
all
this
the
is the
tanks?
kind of strategy that's great to break out early because you sit there and you look at it.
Oh,
and you're
it's
like,
head games.
You're like, wait a minute, that seems too obvious. It's got to be a trap. And then who knows? High Voltage could be doing it on purpose, as in the nope, that's exactly what we're doing. Doubt yourself,
Yeah.
and now you have no idea what's real and what's
Well,
not.
yeah.
Because that time it was obvious, it was a lie, and then that time it was obvious, it was true, and now you
They don't know what to think. You don't
can't-
know what to think.
You can't trust yourself, and it's just you spiral out of control as a caller. And once you start doubting your own decisions, it's over.
It's over.
over for everybody.
Caller Wanted, obviously just not really knowing what to make sense of right now in the world. Let's see if they can kind of come to grips with
would?
reality.
Who would?
Or will High Voltage continue this dominance? Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting right back into Murvanka. Let's take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Caller Wanted with two 215s, two E5s, an STB, a TVP, and an M40, M43. High Voltage with an E5, a 140, and a 907, an STB, a T22, an E3, and an AMX 1390. Let's immediately fly over and see what is going on with A1 that allowed that scout not to be spotted back. Okay. So it's pretty much the Amazon forest over here?
Just this
Is
nice,
that, is
thick
that what
jungle.
we're going with? Perhaps this elevation difference? Something that made it to where
perfect
they
about
could
it.
not spot that T-54 lightweight. Now, why is it so important that they didn't spot the T-54 lightweight rather than the T-54 lightweight spotting them? Well, he's going to go find out what spotted him. He's
Sure.
going to be like, oh, hold up, something crazy going on over here.
Sure.
And he's going to find that prong, and it's all over. As it was, there was no reason for that 54 lightweight to continue
Looking.
in such a
Yeah,
refined
he saw no
area.
one. He's like,
One
yeah.
shot coming in for the M40, M43, splashing Ant Thief. Magenta Panda and Blue Mini directly into the Fire Egg Solution, and High Voltage now starting to slightly just rotate around and troll and use the rest of their tanks as the backstop. This is a well-built strategy that is flexible, that can do all sorts of different things. We've shown they have an answer to the one cap that was protected from all possible vectors aside from directly in the cap area. High Voltage firmly in command of Murvanka. In
Yeah.
a situation where Caller Wanted looked like they were one of the best teams in the league on it, up until High Voltage decided to spend a lot more attention on it. Right now, more even brawl, and we'll see if High Voltage can handle this, as this is starting to drift more and more into what Caller Wanted prefers to do.
Yeah, we kind of seem comfortable with.
But Ox and Wally chasing down Aggressor in the east side. If they can take out Aggressor, that's going to be a huge win for them, as he's almost always a clutch player on this map with his rotational power and a lot of his angles. Plus, they'll get an easy flank with an M40, M43, and everything will be right in the world, because I will see an M40, M43 die,
The salt
just like I've always wanted.
will be thrown over the right shoulder. It'll be a good day. Here comes the shot going out from the M40, M43. Go over to Arclet. Nothing connecting there. And a lot of damage, though, connecting onto Magenta Panda. 1152 there, going onto that 5B. Just poked up for a second. Just
That's
a
what I'm
second.
talking about. That's what that refined strategy looks like. You know, more shot coming out from Magenta Panda. We'll hold all that commentary back into the end of the game and talk about the action that's coming out right now as Permablue's coming around trying to get some more shots into Bird Thief. A lot of shots bouncing off High Voltage. Sorry,
Looks
a lot
like-
of bounces coming out of High Voltage on Permablue. Another 659, but Bird Thief goes down. That's the first tank down for High Voltage now.
Arclet taking a shot as well. Now Permable actually getting out of there with just about half of his points of HP left. Ox Thief in the 907. Another shot. More damage there going to Blue Mini. Switching plays with Magenta Panda to make sure Magenta does not go down too early there. Blue Mini bouncing a nice shot as well. And look at Color Wanted starting to be very aggressive here. Maybe going for Arclet. Looks like Aggressor is being aggressive in that 50-51.
That's a trap.
Arclet looking right for him, starting to back out still. A shot going to the side of Aggressor. The shot for the M40, M43 lands. 1243 going to Arclet. One or two more shots, and that E3 will be going down. But, as you said, High Voltage, Tiger Thief, Blue Boys Captain, and Thief all ready to back him up there. 738 going to fix reloaded. Smiley Rage coming to the top. He's going to finish off Arclet here. There it is, the SP1 finding that one. Caller Wanted to continue to take more damage there, but two tanks down for High Voltage. Not a single one for Caller Wanted, but the HP is in favor of High Voltage. So they've done a great job whittling those points away.
Even with a beautiful shot from Delph landing directly on top of Arclet, which is one of the best situations you can possibly get with that artillery. High Voltage is still firmly in command. And a little bit of rotations coming out, although this is a much harder situation to win. 30 seconds left roughly
20
under
now.
pressure, and High Voltage has to come in directly with a lot of tanks that cannot handle that direct fight.
Caller Wanted putting that cap pressure on. They said, High Voltage, you did this to us. Well, we're going to do it right back to you. Let's see if High Voltage has a response. Magenta Pan and Perma Blue are so low there on the cap. And again, they just need a little bit of damage to get the reset here. It is dropping now down to 10 seconds. Oxthief looking for those shots that obviously he has been studying. One shot going through, nothing connecting. Now dropping it down to 8 seconds. Wallhacks and the rest of High Voltage now moving in. They only have 6 more seconds to find the reset. Wallhacks being spotted out here. They're looking for the shots. He's going to try to find one at 1390, but Blue Mini's going to stop before he can get there. It's now down to 2 seconds. Tiger Thief taking too much damage here. He's trying to spot someone out. Perma Blue takes him down, and that is the cap going to 0. Caller Wanted have now successfully capped against High Voltage here against really what looked like they were just losing HP. They came back, they found the answer, and they took it beautifully, picking up the first victory.
They lost HP, but they did not lose the tanks. And that is obviously the most important part.
No, they held the game. And it's also good to point out, the tanks they used to put the cap pressure on obviously were the ones with the lower points of HP. The ones that were a little more expendable. Like, guys, just get on the cap.
Because then everybody else can muscle up on corners. They can take fire back while they hold it, so you can't just aggress on it, right? If a tank is one shot, you don't really have as much of a problem pushing, or one guy kind of leapfrogs the other.
Sure.
Again, let's get into the stats.
Woo.
Not a high-scoring game overall, though. Tiger Thief for High Voltage taking the charge with 1994. Ox with 1902. Everybody else not breaking 1500. Even Wally didn't get some shots. And in fact, he didn't even fire shots. That's how you know that's an interesting game overall. Aggressor with almost 1900 in his TVP. Almost 1700 from Perma Blue, 1500. There you go. Just very, very low scoring game overall.
Yeah.
But an easy win in many senses for Caller Wanted, which kind of helps them start recovering from what had happened to them the game before.
The
it's
mind
like,
games.
yeah, well, we can play mind games. So it's always about the message. I hate to talk about this too much.
No, it's fun.
But so it comes into, well, they got us with some cheese strats, but they're out of them now. Let's play the game and see if they can handle us. And when you deliver that message, then you win one. It all seems so much more true.
Sure.
Granted, they now have to stop High Voltage from offense again. And we'll
Ooh.
see how well that works out.
We'll see if there's maybe more mind games coming up for High Voltage. Will they do the same thing twice? And how will Caller Wanted respond? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going into the next battle. High Voltage up 2-1. Can Caller Wanted come back and tie it up? Or can High Voltage make it 3-1? Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Caller Wanted with 2 215s, 2 E5s, a batch head, a 62A, and the M40. Worked last time.
Why not?
Bring it again. High Voltage with 215, an IS-7, a batch chat, 2 TVPs, an E3, and a Lorraine 51.
Lorraine.
I'm not sure about the Lorraine. However, it's certainly pretty great for counter battery.
I was saying, are we going to see some counter batter coming out?
I would not put it past Arclit
Nah, no one
to
would.
think that way.
No one would.
No, it's not. That is a completely valid way to spend the time firing with a Lorraine 51. It's going to have the biggest impact by making a connection with either the batch chat or the M40, M43. Now, everything else is borderline negligible unless he's just reaching over. If they create a stagnation on the one cap and he just reaches over the hill and peppers people, that's typically Arclit's kind of style. I mean, he did it with the 207. So perhaps that's what High Voltage is going here for. Wall hacks.
Both bad chats scouting each other out, no one having shots, though.
Oh, that is almost a very, very
Oh.
high scout. That, narrowly avoiding that shot there. Rather, that shot narrowly avoiding him. Not sure who to give credit for that one. One shot coming down onto Magenta Panda from Arclit's 51, not making connection. Wallhacks was just doing a scout run there to give Arclit an early shot. Now Arclit's going to rotate far away, and that shows one of the key elements
Caller
of
Wanted,
51.
though. Going on the side, trying to catch out Wallhacks. Focused by Tiger Thief, though. Now he sees the IS-7 there. Let's see if Caller Wanted can take down a bad chat quickly. 792 going into Wallhacks. He's got to be careful. 400. One more shot. Magenta Panda is going to take him down. And now a bad chat has fallen for High Voltage. Aggressor coming in to make sure Tiger Thief can't go anywhere. He gets focus fire down. Caller Wanted now in the driver's seat here. Onto Muravanka. Blue Boys captain does take down Aggressor, and now High Voltage has to do something to get this back into their hands. And it looks like there's going to be taking down Fixer Reloaded here. One more shot, maybe two, and he'll go down. But Blue Boys and Bird Thief now both on reload. Blue Mini, meanwhile, taking some shots there in that E5. He's got to be careful. Will he get around the corner?
This is far from over right now. 2 TVPs coming in hot for High Voltage. Caller Wanted to be getting some great early grabs, but they have a big barrier to get through in Ox Thief's E3. And if Arclit can make any of these connections with his Lorraine 51, they could be in business. This game lies solely on Bird and Blue. Bird picking up the first kill and taking out Blue Mini.
There he goes. An E5 now falling, tying the tanks up 5-5, and Fix Reloaded getting lit up 522 in that E5. And here comes Blue and Bird. Blue Boys captain taking down Fix Reloaded. David, you could not have called it better. And now Magenta Panda taking the 1,000 here. One more shot, he'll be going down. Anthe picks him up. Permablue has one more, and he'll be going down as well. And High Voltage coming back. 3 tanks remaining for Caller Wanted. They're separating Permablue from the rest of his team. Smiley Raid's taking some shots there under really anyone that he can, and it's Anthe. Arclet taking down Permablue in the Lorraine. A beautiful shot from that artillery, and now just 2 members remain for Caller Wanted, something that I was not expecting to see.
I didn't expect to see any of that in this game, but it is definitely a valid strategy just to dogpile that
Just
middle area.
bully him over.
And a great recognition by Caller Wanted, seeing that they had. That's just a tank thing. They're like, oh, a Batchat? We'll focus that out real fast. 2-2-1-5s, we'll probably kill him before he even dumps his clip. They focused him out very quickly. Wk8 didn't have anywhere else to go, so perhaps a strategic oversight worth looking at. Or perhaps High Voltage already did that, and they knew they would get their damage out of their TVPs. But TVPs really getting it to work that time. Beautiful shot by
Arclet. Yeah, Arclet landing these artillery shots one after the other. It is now just Smiley Rage.
Nice bird.
Who is going down, leaving just Delph.
Who needs shots?
Yeah.
I'm reloading, but I can still ram.
I got
this
a tank.
No
Look,
big
look,
deal,
look at
no
this
big
bush.
deal.
Look at this bush this Delph is in.
Wow, what a great game from Caller Wanted, though. I mean, it was so close. All they needed to do was not persist up the 3 line. They would have been far more in business. But hindsight is 20/20.
Oh my gosh. That's what's so mind-blowing to me is such a quick early pickup. 2 tanks gone like that. But I guess you do have to think, well, I mean, those 2 tanks went on quickly, so 2 tanks of ours can go down just as quick. High Voltage sending those Bird Thief and Blue Boys captains around the side, just like the battle buddies from hell, just coming out, just taking down every single member of Caller Wanted that we
Absolutely,
saw.
but there's one tank we didn't highlight. That much.
No. We saw Arclet.
Let's check out the stats.
Let's
I'm not going to go ahead and make a prediction. We'll just see. Let's focus on the left side first. Caller Wanted with 2258 in the M40, M43. Fixer with 2000 in his E5. Smiley Rage with almost 1700. And Permablue, 1590. I mean, hold up. Like, I have problems with the M40, M43 in a lot of ways. But I didn't see exactly when those shots hit.
Well,
I mean, if they hit after the match was already lost, that's one thing.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure Delph was really drilling him.
Well,
so far, he's been very on point.
He did 980 at the end there.
Okay. So that takes him
take
out.
That out.
Yeah.
Still.
Delph, you're great at it, but I'm still not sold in the M40. Theme of my life. Not just a week. My life.
Much the life.
Ant Thief. There we go. This is 2 and 5 in the 1 line. Just bringing it home the whole time. Just shot after
Solid,
shot after
yeah.
shot after shot. That tank that you can't really focus because he's got too much hit points, but he's just ruining
just
you.
annoying.
Persisting down that 3 line absolutely just handed the game over to Ant. 3,700 damage in his 215. Bird getting his damage in with 2,400. Ox right behind that with 2,000 in the E3. Arclet getting
Almost
19
2,000.
and 15 in the 51, which some of that was when the game was already over. Blue Boys not performing as well as Bird overall with 1,800, but still nothing to scoff at. And Tiger and Wally getting caught out in the middle, but their sacrifice will be remembered.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. We will not forget. So what you're saying from Caller Wanted there is after they picked up those 2 kills, it would have been better to just back off and not continue to push the rest of the team? Just kind of maybe overconfidence?
Yes, anytime you get a pick like that, especially a big 2-tank pick,
You're like-
you can pump the brakes and slow the game way down, especially on defense, and then just evaluate and look, because even if they make a big play, they're going to do something that's in your favor. Trying to overplay too quickly after that is how you throw.
Well, there it is
One
right
of the
now,
ways
ladies and gentlemen.
you throw.
As we see that, now we're going into Ghost Town, a map we haven't seen in a while. See who can win on this one. High Wolves up 3-1. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for tanks.
Really quick, though, I don't want to be too critical of Caller Wanted. They were getting lit up by TVPs. They couldn't go toe-to-toe with them. The TVPs could simply just step around the corner, dump their 4, and reload. So they had to do something. They took a gamble, and it didn't pay off. Caller Wanted with an E100, a 215, a mouse, an E5, a 62A, an E3, and an M40, M43. That's a vicious lineup. Almost 15,000 hit points on that. High Voltage with 2 215s, and 2 I7s, a Batchat, a W100, and AMX 1390. I'll tell you, if this gets into a brawl, I really would prefer to be Caller Wanted.
Okay.
But if you can do some strategic dancing, High Voltage has got it. I mean, they both have great lineups, depending on what you want to do. And depending on how much you bounce. If those IS-7s bounce a good bit, who knows? Who knows? I mean, it's Ghost Town. Who knows anyways?
Only time will tell. I do want to kind of see the strategies because, okay, as a team, David, obviously we're pretty far into the season. We only have this week and one show next week before the playoffs. looking at the maps that just aren't played a lot, Ghost Town being one of them, do you even spend the time making strategies for these maps just in case? Or would you just go, we never see it?
So everybody probably farms other leagues and looks for strategies they can just copy and learn how to run in the event that they have to play Ghost Town. But I doubt a lot of, at least the top teams, spend a lot of time trying to learn Ghost Town.
It's just not worth it.
It's like a Himmelsdorf that just like lost its mind and cloned itself halfway across and just decided to take all the most complicated parts of Himmelsdorf and just clone them all over the place.
Put it into one.
Arclight getting tagged for almost 700
Wow.
by Delph. That's a nice early start.
Who is lighting him up right now?
It had to be Smiley Rage. It's the only one even with the Vector.
Yeah. Well done there.
The buildings there getting into early light and allowing that shot to even happen. I mean, Delph sneaking it over the buildings and even being focused over there. I wonder how aimed he was, but either way, great shot. Arclit and Bird pausing for the moment.
Oh.
And another extreme split strategy coming out of High Voltage. Enough eggs have been placed in this basket in the Northeast for Color Wanted to just kind of assume that this is where most tanks are. And High Voltage spending a very long time taking their bad shot in 1390 very far out to guarantee they don't get flanked or they don't get spotted on their own, but they are offering up a lot of flank potential. Permablue getting a shot, 833 out of his E3. That's going to start making things definitely spicy. Wallhax and Blue got to get in behind and make this really worth it. Delth's going to go down fairly certain, and then Blue has to get into this fight as quickly as possible.
Delth just, though, did another 700 points of damage there onto Anthief, dropping him to below half health in that 5B, opening up Aggressor, and Permablue coming in, taking the shot there, 743 going to Anthief. He's now trying to find some cover with teammates. Blue Boys Captain does take on Delth, though, so there we go. We do have the artillery gone. Blue Boys Captain is successfully going around here, and we'll see if High Voltage now can continue being almost 3,000 points of HP down. But they are a tank up. We'll see how they can turn that into a win here. Bird Thief and Permablue going head-to-head here. A huge shot coming out of the E100. Again, I love the way that gun sounds. Blue Boys Captain, meanwhile, doing some shots, taking some shots there onto Smiley Rage. Oxy takes down Permablue, and that is another tank falling for Color Wanted. High Voltage still has all 7 members here. Magenta Panda taking some more. Takes reloaded. Aggressor. Magenta now coming around the spine. Smiley Rage takes on Anthief. Aggressor takes on Bird Thief. A nice double kill coming out for Color Wanted, and that is now 2 tanks down for High Voltage. Blue Mini, though, just barely holding on by a thread.
Oh, that's going to matter.
Oh, one shot missing from Tiger Thief is going to allow that mouse to continue to live here. And Arclit, though, takes him down before Smiley Rage takes down Tiger Thief. 4 members now on the side of Color Wanted, 4 on the side of High Voltage. And now a huge shot into Wallhack, 733 in that 1390. Aggress, though, getting pelted by Blue Boys Captain, who has 2 more shots in that bat chat. He comes over, 1 bounces off the E100, and he is not confident to pop up and take the other one. He's going to start clipping early. Another tank falling for High Voltage means that Color Wanted now in the lead as far as tanks and HP.
Ox, for the second time in a row, almost getting a nice sneak attack with a full clip and just barely getting spotted as Color Wanted shifts away. This game is winnable for both teams, certainly favored for Color Wanted right now, even though the auto-litter potential for High Voltage is significant. Ox is very likely going to get caught out right now as everybody abandons him. He's going to have to run, and it's going to be on Wally and Blue to really get it done, or maybe Ox can get his entire clip out. If Ox can take out some of these tanks, High Voltage could be in business.
Here we go. Here, Ox Thief is now spotted out here. Fixed reloaded. Has a nice shot on him. Just waiting. Does some damage there. But next, the first one coming out from Smiley Rage. 575 going to Fixed reloaded. He's backing up. 1257 from Ox Thief. 1864. One more shot, and he'll take down the E5. No, he does not get it off in time. Smiley Rage is going to save his teammate there. Fixed reloaded gets to live for another battle as 3 minutes are on the clock, and it's up to Blue Boys Captain and Wallhax to take down 4 members. Now, 2 of those 4 are 1 shots away. It'll be interesting to kind of see what happens here. There's 1 shot going to Fix Reloaded. 250 going to him. The shot from Blue Boys Captain Aggressor, unfortunately, just missing there. And now Aggressor turning his sights onto Wallhax, who is sitting way far in the back, making sure he can be safe. Oh, Smiley Rage. This is just, though, allowing Color Wanted to start going different places on the map, to start really relocating and getting different vectors into one. High Voltage does come back to attack.
If some people had not bounced off of Aggressor, this would be a very different game right now. He can one-shot everything for High Voltage, and that changes the landscape of things. Plus, it's another tanking position. It could have made all the difference there. Perhaps, we'll talk about that when we get out of the game. Smiley Rage and Magenta Panda getting lit by Blue, I believe, right there. as Wally and Blue continue trying to jostle around Color Wanted and look for that pick. Wallhax does start getting a line on Aggressor. If he can get that spot, he could take him out. Wallhax
there
lines
it
up the
is.
shot. Looks like Aggressor has just barely turned his turret. And to see if Wally can get that last shot in, but he does not.
Oh,
Probably didn't see a good penetration point at that point in time. Just before he got that spot, he had a flat angle on Aggressor that very likely would have gone through. And now Color Wanted just bunkering down with a lot of their tanks where they're going to get early warning by
Yeah,
everybody
this
with
is-
hit points.
oh.
Somebody, most likely Blue Boys, is going to have to make an incredibly clutch play in order to bring this back for High Voltage. They still have some time to plan. And all they have to do is hold 2 defenses, which on Ghost Town is, well, it's hard to say, honestly. I still think defense is more favored on Ghost Town. But this was an incredibly close match. Perhaps with faster routes, High Voltage would have been in business.
Right now, Smiley Rage going out. He spots out Wallhax, and that T62A wants some of that 1390. Let's see, he's going to come over the top here. First shot might be going over to Wallhax. The shot there bouncing. Blue Boys captain, though, meanwhile, takes down Fix Reloaded. Now Smiley Rage takes down Wallhax. Magenta Panda now chasing down this bat chat here. 420 going into the bat chat. Blue Boys captain has to be careful. The first shot just missing there, which is going to allow Magenta Panda to finish him off there in the 5B. And that is going to be Color Wanted picking up a victory here onto defense, making the score now 3-2 against High Voltage. Still, though, in favor of High Voltage right there. So, right, the question is kind of where that all went down before we kind of talk about how it got to that point and the different things that could have happened. When, as Color Wanted, you have your 4 tanks, you're on defense, there's 2 tanks left, and obviously you're all very low. At what time on the clock do you send one of your tanks away safely?
It's always a variable calculation.
Okay.
It just depends. Sometimes you don't. Just
Really,
depends.
you just keep them there.
Depends on what's going on, how many tanks you need to win that fight, if that guy's going to be able to escape, all
Okay.
sorts of different things. Let's check out the stats.
Do it.
For Color Wanted, 3505 out of Smiley Rage.
My
Told you he was good. 5 kills. No big deal. No big deal at all, except it's a huge deal. Aggressor with 2800, bounced 780 critical shots. Critical shots that would have kept that game very likely into High Voltage's hands at that point. Magenta Panda with 1973, Fixer with 1959. Just a huge lineup from them. And Blue Mini, he didn't bounce that much, just has so much hit points. Meanwhile, for High Voltage, Ox Thief with almost 3,500, getting almost 2 full clips out of his W100. Blue Boys with 2,400 overall, and Tiger Thief 1,700. Everybody else falling below that 1,500 mark.
Now, we talk about this, why this is an important battle for High Voltage win. I mean, Color Wanted, if I'm not mistaken, is guaranteed a spot in the playoffs, correct?
Yes,
So
they both are.
So they both are, but like this is for High Voltage's guaranteeing them starts in the finals.
yes.
Yeah, so a very big game for them
one
to
of the
win
games,
right
I
now, and it's close. I mean, one more victory, Call One might be able to tie it up. Right now, we're going back into the battle. High Voltage is now on defense. Let's get into it and take a look at what we've got. 4 tanks. Caller wanted CW, High Voltage
Get that done
HW.
very quickly. Color One with 2 215s, 2 T22s, 2 62As, and RE51. High Voltage with 2 215s, 2 E5s, a Bat Shadow W100, and a Lorraine 51.
Yeah, Arkland out
So,
Lorraine.
overall here, High Voltage took a very long route with 2 tanks. I think only using 1 in that instance would have been fine. Perhaps leaving Wally back here, something like that. The Bat Shat's kind of a risk on its own. That's why they ran in tandem, because they didn't have full contact. But looking lineup to lineup, I think they were more worried about taking that 62A out. But finding where the 62A was probably would have been good enough. Either way, this angle right here was a trap. Ox was right here. If Ox hadn't gotten spotted, he could have vaporized an E5, and that would have been a different game. There was a fight that occurred here. High Voltage very well broke out of that into this area and secured themselves a very nice area. Ox Thief then again right here, ready to pump up a bunch of tanks from that angle. He got spotted as he was getting ready to round the corner. And again, it slipped away.
Denied.
Ox got his shots in, but there needed to be more things, more tanks there to tie up and confuse Caller Wanted while Ox was able to get his shots in, because he's in great positions to get it done. He got it done for a good bit. Almost took out Blue Mini in the E5, and just inches away from a different game for High Voltage.
Oh, right now, though, we have a lot of shots going out kind of right in the center of the map as a flank comes across from Caller Wanted down from the south. Some T22s and two T22s and 2 T62As. Let's see if they are spotted out now. Bird Thief taking the shot there, missing on a fixed reloaded. Oxy doing a little bit of damage though in that E100. He still has 3 shots left, and this is going to be High Voltage now pushing on the Blue Mini and Aggressor up the alleyway. A lot of damage there going to Anthony from Magenta Panda, taking some as well, but fixed reloaded, 1295, going to that T62A. There's nowhere that he can go. Bird Thief is going to finish him off, and that is a first tank fallen for Caller Wanted. Magenta Panda will looks like he's going down to a Bird Thief, a double kill coming out for him, taking down those T22s. Tiger Thief takes out Aggressor. Anthony finds Blue Mini. Smiley Rage finally finds 1 member of High Voltage, but High Voltage taking down 4 members back to back to back from Caller Wanted. There's the 5th, leaving just 2 here. Man, High Voltage on defense. Yeah, we're going to pretend we're on offense here. Very aggressive plays coming out from them.
That's a nice way to answer back after what happened last time, without a doubt.
Absolutely here. Permanent Blue there going down, leaving just Delph. And then RU251 is going head-to-head against an E5. Tiger Thief versus him. He's going to go off the side. Takes a lot of damage. It's just going to be a Goomba. It's a Goomba, ladies and gentlemen. Tiger Thief with a beautiful Goomba kill. The first one that we've seen all season. Oh, thank you, High Voltage. Thank you so much. David, that is going on the highlight reel. That is going on the highlight reel for sure.
You got to talk to Tim if you want it in the highlight reel. I mean, he is our lead video editor.
Tim, you hear me? Lead video editor. Put that on the highlight reel. We were just talking about today. He's like, oh, I haven't seen a Goomba, but it's going to go on highlights. That was for you right now. Man, and we do have a timeout coming up for Caller Wanted as High Voltage have now gone at 4-2 against him in the second match.
All righty, let's go into those stats. Wall hacks getting set free of his scout. Perfect 8, 32-36 in the FE215. Ox with 2390. Very tricky fight for him. Anthief with 2,000. Bird with 19. Well, we'll call it 2,000. Tiger Thief with, we'll call it 1,500.
Yeah.
Both Blue Boys and Arclip breaking 1,000. Over here for Caller Wanted, 1,700 for Blue Mini, 1,600 for Magenta Panda, and Delph in the RU251 getting in 1,500. Very trolly shots. So, really, I feel like High Voltage made that closer than it should have been. Granted, it wasn't really all that close.
Right.
But when the push came in from the side of mostly mediums, directly into the side of their unit, they pushed all the tanks there. So there's 2 215s squaring off against at least 1 E5. I think it was maybe 2 E5s.
Okay.
And they were both kind of
in the
jostling
alleyway.
back and forth in an alleyway.
Yeah.
The E5s just needed to hold. They didn't need to push.
Oh.
They pushed. They're probably called to push given what was going on there. And that makes sense if the rest of their team can kind of pivot away with them. So they've got trailing people defending as they push forward and they take that isolation and they crush it, right? But instead, Caller Wanted was driving directly into their isolation, what they wanted. So actually pushing the E5s forward was kind of a gamble. But Ox ruining them in the W100s. And then Blue Boys coming in and cleaning up made it easy for High Voltage to handle anyway. So, while not textbook, good enough.
Oh, absolutely.
Obviously. I mean,
absolutely.
only Anthief died.
Well, and like you said, a good response to kind of what just happened to them on to Ghost Town. To just kind of come back and be like, all right, we lost that brawl. We kind of got it out of here. Let's just take it to you. I won't lose a tank.
And perhaps I'm wrong on this. So that's kind of like definitely an older thing with tier 8s and whatnot. Perhaps in this instance, that's not true because the 215s can probably snipe the hatch on the E5 fairly easily.
Okay.
So then if the mediums are contributing with the 215s, now you've got that focus fire link up. Perhaps it would have meant death for the E5s and directly pushing into the 215s, and they knew full well that the rest of the pocket was going to go down. But I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't have seen it that way from their perspective at that point in time based on the spotting that they had. But who knows what they saw.
No, but
I mean, they are current pros.
one of the things that they saw was definitely victory right there. Again, kind of going into this one, I love seeing every time that the team is on defense, totally throwing that defensive, let's just stay back and not really camp, but be more defensive out the window. Like, hey, we're on defense, so let's just catch up the enemy by going very aggressively, as they did Caller Wanted right now, increasing that victory now 4-2. One more, and they will close out this night for themselves, not our night. We still have a couple more matches after this. Let's see if they can do it or can Caller Wanted come back. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for tanks.
For Caller Wanted, we have an E100, 2 Mouse, an E5, 2 Type 5s, and an RU251. For High Voltage, 2 215s, 2 IS7s, a batch shot at W100 and an AMX 1390. lot of hit points. A lot
For Caller
of hit
Wanted.
points.
Good
for
to-
Caller Wanted.
It seems very defensive.
That's certainly one way to do it.
Delth now being sent over to the northern cap. I'm assuming to start clearing out some of these destructible buildings here to make sure that High Voltage can't do anything sneaky. Delth running right on the way through. No, actually, he's not going to be the one to clear them out at all. He's going to go through, and he might find a lot of members from High Voltage here. Anthief spots him out. Delth find those both exchanging some shots. Nothing connecting both the teams, but now Caller Wanted possibly knowing where one member is. So again, only Anthief was there. But David, is the 5B one of those kind of telling tanks? Like if you see a 5B here, you can assume the rest of the team's with him?
To a certain extent, yes.
Okay.
It can also hold the line. What would be more of a thing is the Type 5, because it's not fast at all. The Type 5 and the Mouse, I mean, if you see it there, the rest of the team is there. Granted, Color 1 is just going to set up in the middle where they can easily rotate to both caps. They don't have to worry about it so much. Number of shots coming out and number of bounces
Wow.
off the Type 5.
There we
One
go.
more there. That's what we're talking about. People who aren't particularly familiar with it, because that's not a tank you commonly see.
Draw
Now a
armor.
little bit of trouble
Effective armor.
penetrating it, and Caller Wanted understanding they've got a lead with a W100's clip down. They're going to push directly into High Voltage and see if they can capitalize on that space they just made as High Voltage rotating around trying to pick them up from behind.
Putting on some cap pressure as well. Delth taking a lot of damage there. And the RE251 and Woltage is going to finish him off in the 1390. And now he's going to come to join the rest of his team, followed closely by Blue Boys captain in the back chat. Anthief taking some shots there from Lemming Rush and Fixer reloaded in that Mouse. Tiger Thief taking a shot into Fixer. Mouse reflecting it as always. Aggressor taking a shot. And Caller Wanted actually starting to bleed HP. High Voltage, well, just for a second, was in the lead. Now they're only 300 points down. And as Aggressor takes 419, High Voltage is kind of going back and
Ox
forth.
is almost back in this fight.
Oh,
As long as he
this
doesn't
is
get
gonna be
focused, it's
dirty.
going to be a nasty clip. Tiger now has the ability to push in a little bit more. All this does, Ox just needs to not overplay, and the positional advantages will add up over time, even though he's itching to get that clip and he does
Yeah,
not
here he
want to
is.
get shot.
There's
but there
one.
it goes. He's going to take down Aggressor and guarantee the same thing doesn't happen again. Mouse, driven by Blue Mini, next on the chopping block. Never mind, it's going to be Fixer and Loaded as Ox Thief unloads his clip on him. Smiley Rage trying to come in from behind on Ant, and Tiger Thief probably will take out Ant here in a second, but both tanks going to get isolation on him. Wallhack's coming in from behind.
Wallhack's.
Blue Boys coming in for the cleanup as High Voltage takes
over.
the final push to bring this into a victory.
Right now, Caller Wanted just getting surrounded. There is nothing they can do. It is a 3v7. Wallhax looks like he's going to take down Permablu in the Type 5 Heavy. Here's one more shot. Here's the final one going to the back of that tank. He was trying for a ram. He didn't get it. He's got to be careful. And there it is. Wallhax finishing off Permablu in that 1390, leaving just Smiley Rage. And that is going to be High Voltage picking up their 5th victory of the night, finishing out the second match here on the Ghost Town against Caller Wanted. Some fantastic plays coming out from High Voltage, getting that not must needed, but for them, their must needed victory to start guaranteeing that spot into the finals. So well done and congratulations to them on that. Caller Wanted bringing some really some plays, some strategies onto Muravanka starting out there, but High Voltage just not even letting him happen. Not even letting it happen at all.
Overall, it was mostly a dominant game from High Voltage.
Yeah.
They were controlling the pace of the battle a lot of time. Caller wanted Toronto to counter push at the right times, the right positions,
Yeah.
but that's High Voltage's strategies were set up for that. So while I think Caller One is a great team and they've definitely excelled throughout the season, they've been getting better and better. That was a strategic victory for High Voltage in almost every game, and one or two oversights here and there. But all those games on Ghost Town should have been High Voltage's favor. They just didn't get it done for execution points. Let's go ahead and go straight into stats and wrap this up.
Do it.
For Caller Wanted, as Lemming Rush was 1,700. Everybody else just suffering. They got drawn into those positions that High Voltage wanted, and then High Voltage finished it off. This time, Ox being allowed to bring his fight back into the game with a little bit more certainty than he did last time. Overall, for High Voltage, Anthief with 4,600 in his 215. Some great play backing up and not going down there. Ox, 3,000 with 2 kills, getting in two full clips. Arclit, 2,600. Blue Boys, 2,000. Wallhacks, 2,000 in
In a
the Scout
1390.
again. And one of those was a tier 10 heavy, one of the
Wallhacks.
heaviest heavies. Bird in an i7, 1,830. And even Tiger Thief, literally everybody broke 1,500.
Well, there it is. There's that magical number, and High Voltage like, yeah, we're just gonna have a lot of
You just
numbers
have to
past
have
that.
15,000 hit points to
Yeah,
farm, and
just
then,
and then everyone
yeah,
breaks
easy
it.
peasy.
That's so true. Totally forgot about that. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our second match of the night done. Our third match, Yo versus Eclipse, coming right up.